I am Michael Jones, otherwise known as Epyon 5, and you are watching Monster Nation.
I pledge allegiance to the flag.
Now, you are an artist here at Comic-Con. Tell us what you specialize in drawing.
I specialize in stencils and spray paint. Essentially what I'll do is I'll take icons that I like, whether it's horror or comic book related, and I will take Chinese newsprint. I will rip up the newsprint, I will glue that to the canvas to serve as a background, then I'll draw a design up, and depending on how many colors, I'll cut a stencil for each color used. So if there's 5 colors, I'll cut 5 individual stencils and then use those stencils to spray paint on the canvas.
Now, who are some of your favorite horror icons?
My favorite horror icons? I lean towards the classic ones like Bela Lugosi, Christopher Lee, Boris Karloff, which I actually did a print of Boris Karloff.
Very cool. Now, how long did it take you to do that one?
Ideally, it depends. When I do the drawing, if I'm really inspired, I can get the drawing done in a day. But cutting the stencils up can take about a week to 2 weeks for all the detail, and then it takes a day to prep the canvas with the Chinese newsprint, and then about a day to paint all the layers.
Now, how did you get to the point where you were like, stencils, Chinese newsprint, I think this would make a great drawing? Like, how did you discover your art form?
Originally, I started out as an oil painter, and I'm trained in like Renaissance-style realism, which I love. My favorite artist is Caravaggio. But oil painting, it's pretty taxing. I mean, you can spend months on one painting and end up hating it. I was hanging out with some guys who were doing street art, particularly a guy by the name of Bearhead, who's from the Midwest area. And he was doing some basic stencil work, and I really loved the contrast, the light and the dark. So I took one of my oil paintings and I did a stencil version of it, and just kind of fell in love with it and went from there.
So what is it about horror that inspired you to want to, make that?
It's the fantasy that's involved in it. And the same goes with comic books or sci-fi. I mean, you can basically escape reality and just completely get lost in another world. It's very romantic in a way.
Okay, how so?
Like Dracula, for example. I mean, he's a hideous monstrosity, but chicks dig him. I mean, he's very sexy.
Yeah, you're right.
Frankenstein, by the way, or Frankenstein's creature, as horrible as it is, it's a very sad tale. So there's very emotional elements involved in horror that I don't think a lot of people realize.
Right. So what do you have coming up next on your plate? What are you going to be working on, or where are you going to be at?
I think my next, actually going to be a gallery exhibit. There's a gallery in Los Angeles called Gallery 1988. They're going to be doing their annual Crazy for Gold exhibit. So for that one, I will be doing a stencil piece of They Live, the classic John Carpenter film.
Oh, cool. That's very cool. Definitely something to work on. So where can people find out more about you and your work?
I really don't have a specific website for myself, but I go by the name Epyon 5. I'm the only guy named that, so it's very easy. People can just Google it, Epyon 5, and it brings up my Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Tumblr, Etsy, all of it. And people can just contact me directly through that.
All right, sounds like a lot of fun. So you have any parting words for Comic-Con and everyone out there?
Honestly, thank you to everybody who showed up, the thousands of you. It's been an insane year. It just keeps getting bigger and bigger. So I feel the need to make better and better art.